Hello, everyone. Welcome to session 5 of Old School Essentials Against the Slavers. We are playing on the Gauntlet calendar. The Gauntlet is an online role-playing gaming community. We mostly focus on indie games, story games, and OSR games. And tonight we are going as deep into the OSR as we can. We are playing Old School Essentials. And tonight is the first session of Dungeon Module A2, Secret of the Slavers Stockade, originally written for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons and published in the year 1980. My name is Mike. I will be the game master tonight. Little bit about myself. I've been playing tabletop role-playing games since the early 80s, and I played through this as when I was in junior high school, when it was new and you could buy it shrink wrapped off of the shelf at the local bookstore. I played mostly D&D in the 80s. I played mostly GURPS in the 90s. I played kind of split Call of Cthulhu and D&D 3rd edition through the aughts. Played a lot of Pathfinder in the teens, and I fell into story games back in 2015, and Dungeon World opened my brain to a whole new way of playing. And I mostly kick in indie RPG circles, but I have a very soft spot in my heart for OSR games, and I do play a fair amount of that. I've been playing with the Gauntlet for about 3 years now, and it's a fantastic role-playing gaming community. If you are interested in learning more about the Gauntlet, you can check it out at gauntlet-rpg.com. Well, enough about me. Let's go around the table. Let's go clockwise around as I have you on my screen here. So, Tim, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Tim. My pronouns are he, him. I've been playing on the Gauntlet for right around a year now, and it's been a lot of fun. So prior to my Gauntlet days, I played a lot of 3.5 edition D&D in the early aughts, which was kind of like my middle school, high school time. And then, life got in the way of my tabletop gaming, and I was off doing other things. And then the pandemic hit, and I rediscovered tabletop gaming because it was a way to get through those early days of the pandemic, and also it made me remember that tabletop gaming is like my favorite thing ever. So since then I've just been trying to absorb as much as I can of D&D 5th edition, story games, OSR, and the Gauntlet has been a great place to be involved with that.
Thanks, Tim. Glad to have you aboard. Harry, would you introduce yourself, please?
I'm Harry. I use he, him pronouns. I've been with Gauntlet a few months, 3 or 4 months, something like that. Been playing old school or D&D since the late 80s, so I'm a bit of an old timer as well. And yeah, I too found story games in the late after 2010 or 2011 or something like that. I can't remember. There's one Gen Con that I went to, and then never looked back. But my gaming group doesn't really play them. So when I found the Gauntlet, and I was like, yay, I can finally play the games that I have bought and I have all in my collection. So it's been a great time.
Wonderful. Glad to have you. Joe, would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Joe. Pronouns are he, him. I've been on the Gauntlet for 4 or 5 months, maybe. Took a big hiatus from gaming when I was in a younger person, and have come back to it, and I'm having a lot of fun. I am up to 6 different systems that I've played this year, so I came back hot apparently. So let's go.
Fantastic. And Jim, would you say hi to everybody?
Hey, hello, I'm Jim Crocker. I run and play a whole lot of games on the Gauntlet, a bunch of them with Mike. So I'm really happy to be here playing with him. One of the things that I say at the beginning of every of these sessions is that when Mike was on the Gauntlet, our Slack group asking, what should I run for classic D&D? And I said, oh, I haven't played the Slavers in a while. That supposedly was the thing that got him to actually take a second look and decide to do this crazy thing for us. So I will accept all credit and or blame as depending on how all this goes. But I'm having a great time so far. I was in high school in the 80s. So, I had got these modules when they originally came out, and they were, kind of the two tones so that you couldn't photocopy them on an old, photocopy machine and stuff like that, which was, just a lot of fun. But I haven't played them in many years. I've been kind of getting more into the OSR stuff over the last couple of years after a lot of time playing a lot of story games. But, I joined the Gauntlet as kind of a place to go play after I closed my game store that I owned for a couple of decades, for 20 years working in game stores. And it has been a real lifeline for me. So it definitely, if you've got nights free, it's a great way to spend your time. You can find me online all over the place as Jim Likes Games. That's my Twitter handle, at Jim Likes Games. That's what I sell games under. I have an itch store under Jim Likes Games. The Between thing that I wrote, the supplement that is available online, is on Drive-Thru RPG at under Jim Likes Games, and podcast, YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff. That's where you'll find me online. But looking forward to this. It's I'm astonished that we all managed to live through that last adventure. So hopefully we've got some some fatalities coming eventually.
Well, we'll see. So speaking of fatalities, I kind of ad hoc'd some home rules for death and dying. I basically cribbed them from another OSR game, namely Mork Borg. OSC, as it's written, once you get to, if you drop to 0 hit points, you're dead. So in Mork Borg, if you're dropped to negative hit points, you're dead. But if you drop to 0 hit points, you roll in this nifty little table. And I'm keeping there's no negative hit points in this game. So if you drop to 0 or fewer hit points, we're going to roll a d4 and look at this table, and it's over on our safety and resources sheet, which is linked off of the journal in our Roll20 session. Which, since I mentioned our safety and resources tab, I want to take a brief moment to talk about safety at the gaming table. This is our 5th session with the same players, so we're using. I'm just going to briefly mention that we are using a bunch of safety tools. Safety tools are a way that we can focus on the fun and not get bogged down in things that we don't want to deal with. So we're playing with a set of 3 safety tools. The first is open door, which means anyone can come and go as they please. Anyone can call a break at any time. The second tool we're using is a proactive tool called lines and veils, which is where we call out a number of specific things that we either don't want to deal with at all or that we want to treat with kid gloves. So we've got a list of topics. Some are lined, which means they're not going to happen. Some are lined, which means they're not going to happen. Some are veiled, which means, we might see signs that they happened. We might, find someone we might encounter someone that this situation happened to. It's not going to happen on camera. It's not going to happen to the PCs. And it's something that we're going to just kind of go past pretty quickly. And the third tool we have is the X card. If anything happens during our play session, whether it's in the game or it's outside of the game between players, you can invoke the X card. Just say X card. You can make an X symbol with your arms. That means we're going to pause the game. We'll have an out-of-game discussion about what we need to change to make it fun for you, and we'll adjust the game and move forward. That's the safety tools we're using in a nutshell. Do we have any questions on safety tools before we move forward? Fantastic. Okay, let's do a quick recap. There have been a band of slavers that have, pirates and slavers that have been despoiling this land along the coast for years now. And for many years, the local lords didn't really want to deal with them. They were just kind of bribing them to not attack my towns, or otherwise mostly appeasing them because they figured that it would be easier to just like make them go away rather than take them on. But they have since become bolder. They have since they've been accepting the bribes and then not being bribed. They've been attacking whole coastal towns, taking everyone there as captives and sailing off with them to some sort of nefarious purposes, to the point where the local lords of the lands have decided it's time to do something. And rather than send a navy with a bunch of Marines after them, they've decided to use stealth once they realized that that most of them were operating out of the ruined city of Highport. The lords hired several groups of adventurers to go into Highport to basically do some reconnaissance, figure out what the slavers were up to, find out what their strengths were. And you were one band that was hired, and you had infiltrated a ruined temple of Hieronius, which was later dedicated to the Orcish god Grumpsh, and that's where at least one band of slavers were bringing their captives and sending them off to other places. You infiltrated the place. You fought one of the leaders, but eventually you weren't able to do a massive prisoner rescue like you had originally hoped to, because the forces were a little more tough than you were anticipating. So you ran off, but you ran off with a lot of information. You did kill one of the slave lords. And most importantly, you found documents and a caravan route where the slavers will be taking their captives to the next place. So you took this information back to your employers, which they thought was fantastic. They rewarded you well for it. I'm going to give you all once I'm done the recap, I'm going to give you each some more magic items. And they basically are sending you back. So you have landed again outside of Highport, but you were able to follow the map that you had stolen from the slavers, and you're basically following this caravan route up into the hills. You are going to a fortress, which again, in the documents that you had seized, the slavers are using this formerly abandoned, it's an abandoned fortress that had fallen into ruin a long time ago, but it's been partially rebuilt, and they're using this as their stronghold to continue their nefarious deeds. So we are going to open. I'm just going to say, so it took following this caravan route took you about a week. You've successfully not, it's possible you may have been spotted, but if so, you were trying to present yourselves as if you were buyers or otherwise, otherwise people that were supposed to be there. But you have approached this fortress, you've left your horses behind, and you've been approaching on foot to basically get close enough to the fortress to case the perimeter. And that's when you encountered an escaped slave. And I'll pick that up there in just a moment. But first, I do want to say that I do want to give you each some additional rewards that your employers gave you. Clintock, you're the cleric of Brandabaris. You have a scroll. So go ahead and add this to your inventory. You have a cleric scroll with 3 spells on it. The spells are Hold Person, Silence 15-foot radius, and Cure Serious Wounds. Val, you also have been given a spell scroll.
All right.
Your scroll also has 3 spells. And they are Phantasmal Force, Knock, and Lightning Bolt.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. Loaded for bed.
Kef, remind me what kind of armor you wear?
It is plate mail.
Okay, I'm going to say that as a reward, you were given, and you do sword and board, right? Sword and shield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to say as a reward, you have a +1. You are granted a +1 shield.
Nice. That means I'm at AC 0.
And Topaz, your character wears leather armor, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, you have leather armor +1. Also traveling with you is the dwarf Baroon. And he was given a he was given a +1 axe. I'll make a note of that. So once you have added those to your inventory, I think we can start. So one other thing I'm going to say out of game, this adventure was designed to have both a tournament mode where it was intended to be done in like a long Gen Con tournament. Basically one session for the stockade level and then one session for the dungeon level. The adventure as written has that and then more in case you want to explore in different locations. Just for sake of time, I'm going to try to mostly keep you on the tournament path. If you really want to go and explore someplace else, we can. But this is just because we have a limited amount of time to get through the whole series. And I'd kind of like to get through as many of these adventures as I'd like to. So I think giving you the kind of tournament experience, even though we're really doing campaign play, I think would probably be the best way to move through these kind of quickly so we can hopefully get through all 4 of these in our allotted time. If not, no big deal. We'll figure things out. It'll still be fun regardless. But so I will basically tell you as a GM, if you get to a crossroads and one way is for the tournament and one way is not, I'll tell you which way is the tournament direction. Make a little page out of story gaming there. Okay, so it is night. It's night. It's a dark night. The skies are overcast, and the moon has already set. While you were there casing the place, you crossed paths with a young man who was, basically dressed in rags. After a bit of a standoff, you relaxed and this guy is a slave that had been captured, had been frog marched here in a caravan, but he managed to get away and sneak himself out, and he has information on how he got out, which is probably how you might want to get in. Let me just find where that is. They'll just set the stage a little bit. So you have arrived at your destination and you are scouting the fort from concealed positions on a nearby ridge. The fort is situated atop a high, steep hill that surveys the countryside. A warding ditch 20 feet wide and 10 feet deep surrounds the fort. The only access road winds down from the north through a narrow valley and up to a drawbridge that spans the ditch. The fort is a combination of recent construction and the remains of an older stone fortress, which you can see. The outer wall of the hill fort is an earthen rampart topped by a wooden stockade.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
I just, sorry, apologize for interrupting you.
No.
I want to make sure you know that in Roll20, we are still looking at the old temple map from A1.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I know
Hey,
you
what
got
do you know?
to.
That's where the
there's a
players-
whole thing where you got to go in on the
Yeah.
DM and switch which map we're looking at and stuff. So yeah, it sounded like you thought we could see the map. So
I indeed thought you could
Okay.
see the map. Thank you
Right.
for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know.
That's much better.
Okay. Are you on the A2 stockade map now? Sorry about that. And thank you. I don't GM with Roll20 all that much, so if I mess up, please feel free to hop in and let me know I'm doing something wrong. Also, I decided to like scan my actual copy from 1980, and so we're looking at the blue map this time. So as you can see on our map here, this fortress is up on a hill. It's roughly rectangular in shape. It's mostly a single story. It's got a stone wall around it. I'm sorry, it's got earthen ramparts. Inside, it's got a stone curtain wall. But then there's wooden stockades that's built up. So the original construction was stone. The more recent construction is wood. So most of the buildings inside that have been built onto this old, been built on top of this old ruin is made of wood. And there is a curtain wall, and as you can see, as you can kind of make out, there's an outer, basically there's an outer curtain wall with an outer courtyard, and then a gatehouse to get to the inner parts of the keep. So what you have learned from this escaped slave, who, by the way, is absolutely 100% not going to go in and show you around. Once he tells you this information, he wants to take off. He claims to be a bit of a woodsman. Claims to be a bit of a woodsman and knows. I'm sorry, go on, Jim.
I'm totally giving him some gold so that he has. I'm going to hand him 10 gold so that he has something, a stake, to like if he needs to bribe somebody or something like that.
Very cool. So he tells you, hold on, look and see where that information is. So the escaped slave has told the party that he left the fort by running a makeshift rope from the curtain wall's second story down to the ditch. So he climbed down. So he was able to sneak out. So he was able to sneak out to the outer gatehouse. He snuck past some guards. He said the guards are not super attentive because they're not expecting attacks. But he was able to get up to the second floor of the curtain wall, and he dropped that makeshift rope and he climbed down into the ditch, and then made his way. And then he bumped into you guys. At first, he thought you were more slavers that were going to return him, but you quickly convinced him otherwise. He also said that he only did that just a couple of hours ago, so that rope is probably still there. Is there anything y'all want to do? Anything y'all want to do now, or do we want to, any precautions which you want to take? Anything here, or do we want to just or if not, I'll just say, okay, you're in the ditch and there's the rope.
seems to me that a careful search of the perimeter would be the first thing that we'd want to do.
Yeah,
Because we have the advantage of Clintock's rope of climbing, we needn't use his makeshift bedsheet rope that he constructed. We can use a sturdy rope. And also, if they've discovered his trail and they are going to try and find him, that's the place that they'll, where the search will be concentrated. So it may behoove us to go up at the opposite of wherever his makeshift rope came down.
Okay. So the so you can see me do like the little sonar pings on the map. Okay, so this is the curtain wall that at the front. He said that he ran the rope basically from here down to the ditch in here. From the second floor, which he said was mostly uninhabited. There are, and I'm not going to make anyone roll stealth because I'm just going to say you're stealthy enough and these guards are not super attentive, but you can see the ditch. You can see this is the earthen rampart. And then this is the, and then there's a wooden stockade at the top of the rampart. And there are guards that are patrolling on this walkway at the top of the wall. And I'm going to say that, since they've got some torches, it's not super duper well lit, but you can tell that the guards that are on patrol are mostly hobgoblins.
How tall is the wall?
The wall is 35 feet high.
Okay. So it is definitely reachable with the rope climbing then. Yep. if you, I'm looking and I'm thinking maybe sticking down here in the south west corner or something and trying to go in that way, because I don't want to get caught here in this middle part here and trying to get through this the gatehouse here on the second part. That's going to be proving very difficult. So if we go through the curtain wall, we're going to have a major obstacle getting through that gatehouse.
So it would be.
So the one thing, I guess the one thing is once we get up on that rampart and there are guards up there, I mean, attentive or not, once we're on the rampart, that's also that's where I can't imagine us being able to be super stealthy at that point. So that's something for us to think about too. That might be why it was easier for him to get out in that front part, right, where there was some cover and other stuff. So
I can make us completely quiet, and we do have I think the warrior, I think he has that elven cloak and elven boots combo. If we can like maybe take out one or two of those guards without alerting the others, we might be able to get through in there. But yeah, also if it's an easier path to go through here, I'm just worried about that gatehouse. So either way I'm good with, but.
So I'm also going to say that since you're able to observe it from a nearby ridge, like maybe a mile or so away, most of the back part of this is basically it's a single building. It's a large wooden structure, like with a roof.
A stockade, if you will.
A stockade, if you will. There is an inner court. There's an outer parade ground, and then there is an inner courtyard that you can see, and there's also a bit of a garden in the middle. So I guess it would be possible if you could do it, if you could somehow either quickly take out the guards or distract them in some way. I suppose you could conceivably, get up the wall quickly, go across the roof, and then go down into like that central garden area. That would certainly be something you could attempt to do. I will just say that if it goes badly, the guards on the curtain walls, pretty much all of them have alarm trumpets on them, because that's kind of their thing is they'll sound the alarm if they see anything really amiss.
Yeah, so if the plan goes wrong, it's going to go wrong really big, really quickly. So yeah, it might be safer to go in there and try and find another way through the gatehouse.
But that is 100% an option. So I guess so. I'm going to say you spend some time. I'm going to say that you're stealthy enough, and I'm not going to require any rolls here just for sake of story. You're able to get pretty close to them. I mean, if you want to get like right there and like sneak around, like get into the ditch and like sneak around that way, you can. Again, I don't think the guards are like at that point like really looking straight down, because they're expecting, if anything, they're mostly guarding the road and then just looking out in that direction. But yeah, if you want to, so I'm just going to say that if you get close and you want to check out the exterior of the stockade, I'm just going to say you can. I don't think a roll is required. But yeah, and it's pretty much as I said. It's it's a 10-foot deep ditch, 20 feet wide, and then the walls go, and then the wall is like 35 feet. And it looks pretty solid. And like once you get close, it's old construction. It was very good construction, but it was old. It went to ruin, and looks like whoever has been rebuilding it, they didn't do a lot to fix any of the old stonework, but they did. But the wooden work, from which, at least from your vantage point, it seems competently built, if not super duper skillful. And I'm just going to say that Baroon makes a note of some of the stonework and just kind of like nods in appreciation. Perhaps this looks like dwarven work to me, he says under his. He whispers quietly. So, what is your approach, folks? Feel free to do some, if you want to do some like out of character planning. That is totally fine.
My vote would be to try and climb up the same way that the escaped captive did, personally. But I'm open to other ideas.
Yes, and if we do that, we can also remove his rope so that it won't be discovered.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just a little bit worried about on the off chance that we would get spotted going up the more heavily guarded way. We might lose any chance at the element of surprise, right?
Very true. Not unwise. We want to remain undiscovered for as long as we possibly can. Hopefully, the entirety of our mission.
Right. Ideally, yeah.
Especially with our roles, we might not be able to take a guard out quietly and quickly and efficiently before we get spotted. So yeah, it's definitely the safer route.
So I have that potion of invisibility. So I could go up if we wanted to. I could go up first in case it's a trap. There might be a chance that I could get up in there.
You could reconnoiter.
At least reconnoiter, and then make sure that it's not a trap of any sort where they left it there, as a tempting entry point.
So
you would not need the rope. We have seen your vaulting skills.
That is true. Well, actually, I mean, he has. I can do climb sheer surfaces as well. So I am reasonably. And since I rolled all the 1s and 2s already, oh wait, I want to roll low. I think for this. Never mind. So he could drink a third. I think I would say drink a third of the potion, which would be D4 turns, because I don't think he needs the full.
Yeah, it's like 10 to 40 minutes, right?
Right. And then I think he will climb up the wall, not using the rope, but like right where that that entry point would be, because I think if he starts pulling on the rope, it'd be if there's anybody up there, it'd be pretty obvious somebody was, on it.
Just to let you know, and again, you can see this on your there are 10 guards that are pretty much always on patrol, and where their guard posts are marked with the letter G on the map.
And where is the rope at again?
The rope is here at the curtain wall. So it's like toward the main entrance, but it's coming off of this wall.
So one of the structures, there's like for lack of a better term, there's some sort of window or opening that it's hanging out of.
Exactly. There are walkways on the curtain. There's a guard walkway on the curtain wall. This is coming off of the second floor. There's a third floor, and there are a pair of guards on the third floor. They don't look particularly attentive, but this one's coming out of basically an opening from this. This was coming out of basically a window from the second floor.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that, I mean, I could make the attempt to climb the wall invisible and assess if there's anybody in there, and then I can tug on the rope to give you the all clear.
Okay, sounds good to me.
So you're going to use your rope of climbing to basically go up the way that the slave did, or
no? I'm just going to use his climbing sheer surfaces.
Okay.
So he has like a 91% chance.
Okay.
Roll required for every 100 feet is what it says.
Okay. So where are you? I guess I don't quite get where you're planning to go to.
I'm going to go where the rope is coming out of, but I don't want to climb
the
rope, right? Because I don't want to alert them. Yeah, alert them that if there is somebody there. Yeah.
Got it. I'll tell you from where you are. You really can't see any of the guards. It just happens to, like, the slave happened to have picked out a good place where it's not super obvious, especially at night. They'll probably notice it come daybreak, but so you're just free climbing the wall. You're free climbing the wall. You're not using the rope.
Correct.
So I guess I will ask for a climb walls check then.
All right. I think I can just click the button.
Be able to just click the button on your character sheet. There you go. Okay. Yeah, you've made it here. You've made it to here, which is this inset map. Go to the map and background and start doing some revealing. So that's so you're on the curtain wall second floor sub map. So yeah, you climb up to a window. It's not difficult to get inside. And it's basically it's a corridor that ends in a door. And let me read the boxed text. Oh, let me undo that. I had this backwards. You're coming from the other. Same thing. You're just coming from the other direction. I apologize. You're coming from this direction, not the other one. It doesn't make all that much of a difference. Okay. So wait, that's F. Where's A? I read this. It was right the first time. I'm sorry. Apologies. Testament to how much dungeon design and layout and presentation of information has improved over the last 42 years. I've read this thing like 6 times, and it still confuses the hell out of me. Okay. Yeah, I was right the first time. You're coming in from the west. So you're here. Okay, yeah. So you are coming into this room, 2A. Again, there was a yeah. So the rope's coming in through here, and it's going in, and you're going into this window. So this room appears to once have been a guard room, but it has been long abandoned. There's a door opposite the door. Let's see there. So you came in through here. God, this is confusing. Apologies. Yeah, which one of those is A and which one of those is B? I can't really tell.
I think the hallway. Oh,
I think the
gosh,
hallway.
you're right.
Yeah, I think
Well,
the hall.
it's good to put the letter right on that line, so it's
I know.
impossible to tell, right?
So yeah, I think this is A. So I think you are. I think I was right the very first time before I started second guessing myself. So yeah, you are coming in through this. You're coming in through this hallway. So you climb up the wall, you go through the window, and you stand in a narrow, dusty corridor. There's a door at the east. What's this? Dungeon map. There's this door to the east. And you just climbed past that crude rope made of knotted rags. And you came in through a small open window. This window was once used, you're pretty sure this window was once used to throw rocks and oil and night soil down upon any attackers that were coming up from below. But other than like a single set of fairly fresh footprints that went to the window, it looks like this whole area has been abandoned and no one's been here in years, given the dust and the cobwebs that are all over the place.
Night soil, what's that, Mike? Sorry. Please continue.
I think there's a scene like that in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, right?
Yeah, most of Monty Python is that. So yeah. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you couldn't. I mean, back in the '80s, the censors wouldn't let you use the word shit. So
I was just wondering if that was the smell of elderberries that I was getting a whiff of, so I didn't.
Okay, obligatory Monty Python joke.
All right. I will, since it looks empty, obviously, I'm going to just tug on the rope so that they are aware, and then I'm going to go and just kind of listen at the door and just be like, ready if anybody were to burst in.
Got it. No roll required. I'm just going to say that you don't hear anything.
Okay. It's a pretty good chance I wouldn't have heard anything anyway, based on my listen at door skills, but let's
Alright, yeah,
Everyone-
I'll definitely follow up.
Okay. Again, no. Even if you're using the slaves that makeshift rope, no roll required. If you're using your rope of climbing, no problem at all. Everyone's there. So Topaz has listened at the door and doesn't hear anything.
I guess I'll go up and check it for traps just to be sure, because I have to. But I do believe I'm up to 25%. Let me check.
Okay. Well then, let me.
Yep, 25.
Okay. Well, I know checking for traps is that's supposed to be a GM roll, and so that's 25%. You said.
Yep.
Let me do a silent percentile roll. And yeah, you do not find any traps here.
These squares are 10 feet, right?
They are 10 feet, yes.
This place is huge. Yeah.
This is back when 10-foot squares was standard for maps.
Since we don't hear anything on the other side, do you want me to open it? Does everyone want to get ready just in case, or?
And this thing's
Yeah.
like basically the size of a football field. Pretty much.
Do you want me to open the door since I'm the most heavily armored? You know, in case.
I'll open the door for you just in case, because I'll take a trap hit first before anybody else, and
Gotcha.
and then you rush in.
All right. Downright decent of you.
Zal just makes an after you gentleman gesture.
And you said, Mike, that we did see guards up above where we're at, right?
Correct. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there are two guards. There are two guards up above. You think there's you couldn't quite see it, but you're pretty sure there's probably some kind of ladder that will connect to the outer wall so that they can also walk along the outside. But yeah, in terms of position, this is, I mean, you're in here, which is, which is here on the main map, just to level up. So you open the door. It opens up into another empty room. This room appears to once have been a guard room, but has long been abandoned. There's a door opposite the door you used to enter. In the south end of the room, along the south wall, are stone stairs leading up and down. The ceiling and walls of this room are covered with dusty cobwebs, and shards of brittle white material cover the floor. The remains of old broken wooden furniture is scattered about. You don't need to be a ranger to see that there is a line of footprints in the dust which reaches from the door to the stairs.
Headed in the direction of the rope.
Headed in the direction, yes, headed in the direction from which you are coming.
I'm definitely gonna just start sweeping the footsteps away, the dust, just so that there's no tracks left.
Okay.
I'm tidying up and cleaning as we go, I guess.
And I kind of make a questioning, a quizzical look, like one of these, and then I point upwards, kind of indicating, and I say, there's. What about the guards? There's two of them up there. Should we dispatch them?
I'm thinking maybe we take one out and question the other about the layout of this structure.
Indeed.
Sounds good, especially since you can go up unseen, and I look around for the acrobat and don't see the acrobat.
It's true. I forget that I'm still, at least I think I'm still invisible.
Yep.
I do like the idea that I don't actually know how long it's going to last.
Yeah. What did I say? How long? I should probably figure that out. I know.
4. Yep.
It's 2d4 minutes. Was that?
I think it's 1d4. Hold on, because I just drank a third of it. It is 1/3 is d4 turns.
D4 turns. Okay. Well then, let me do a GM roll myself so I know how long it's going to last. Okay, now I know. Yeah, you're still invisible.
So I guess I could creep up there as quietly as possible and at least see, at least kind of get a sense of, what we're seeing up there, and then come back down and report. So,
well, you could, but once you get to the stairs and you look up, about 5 feet up the stairs have been bricked up going up. They're free going down, but the upward leading stairs have been bricked.
If we are to presume that the design of this building is symmetrical, then perhaps if we go across to the eastern counterpart of the room that we're currently in, we may be able to access the roof from there, or the third floor.
Agreed.
So I'll check the opposite door again real quick and see if we can get there before the invisibility goes out.
Okay, that door does not appear to be locked. You're checking for traps?
Yep.
You do not find any traps on the door. Again, it looks like it hasn't been used in a long time.
So probably do the same thing, open it for the warrior, and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's walk through it after he swings it open, stride into the next room.
Okay, going into that room. So this is the room that's direct. This is the so you're directly over the main entrance now. You can see in the floor there are murder. Well, let me just. This room appears to once have been used for warding off invaders who'd broken through the front gate and were coming through the passage below. For their murder holes in the floor that can be used for pouring flaming oil or firing arrows down upon them. Opposite door, the door you used to enter, is another door. This room is also dusty and filled with cobwebs. There are no discernible footprints on the dust. The room is only lit by what little moonlight filters in through the arrow slits. The dust is very thick on the floor.
All right. I think we can feel pretty safe moving into the next room after this, right? It
Yeah.
seems we are indeed in an abandoned part of this structure.
Other than that, theoretically, we're about to enter the non-abandoned part of it, because that's going to be the only way that they are getting up to that. I mean, I guess maybe not. I mean, does that?
Unless they're crossing over those ladders.
Unless they're, yeah, exactly. That's what I was just thinking. So
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm feeling like we're another bricked up staircase, but we can take a look, right?
Yeah. So same thing. Cross the door check.
Yeah, give me just a sec here. I need to look at some of your stats. This is one of those situations where I wish we were using a character keeper. Okay. Yeah, as you start crossing the room, you all hear the sounds of you'll hear the faint sounds of like moaning from the other side.
other side of the room or other, side of
on the
door?
other side of the door. The other side of the door.
Okay.
As you get close, it's kind of eerie and spooky.
Moaning spirits. Oh joy.
This just became a Scooby-Doo episode.
Perhaps we've discovered the reason why this is all bricked off and uninhabited. Unless it's the moaning of someone that we're here to rescue, I suggest that perhaps we simply continue backtracking our friend's escape route.
Yeah, so if we want to get up to the top, we have the rope of, we could, I don't know, could we go out, if we want to, we could go out the window with the rope of climbing. We could kind of do the same thing. I could climb up as long as I'm still invisible and at least see, right?
Yeah,
and
you could.
And then Calf could wear the come up on the rope of climbing with the elven cloak stuff, and at least two of us would be up there, mostly stealthy, I would think. If that, or we, I mean, I just, if we want to get up there, I think we still could. But you're right, we could just be like, hey, screw those guys. We don't need to, we may not need to take them out, right? They're up there. Just keep going. You're right. Jim, maybe we
And-
just, or,
My
Zaz,
my concern was that they could follow us easily, but they can't reach us any more than we can reach them. Now
Good
that we've
point.
discovered that,
That's a good point. You're
And-
right. Maybe we do just.
and they're
stay
going to
on
be looking
path,
out
right?
and not in.
I was just going to point that out. The guards are mostly looking out. They're mostly
Yeah.
not looking in. I will, however, say that if you were to go up there and to like have a fight with them on the parapets, that may very well attract the attention of the other guards that are elsewhere on the walls, because there are some, because there are torches that are lit up there. There are torches that are lit up there.
Yes, I think Zal's suggestion may be the more the better choice.
Prudent is the word that you're looking for, my friend.
Yeah.
It
They're gonna
sounds good to
head-
me.
Okay, so you're going to go down the stairs.
We wouldn't want to interrupt someone having a good cry.
There is that.
So just out of curiosity, how big are the murder holes? Could somebody get through one of them?
Not
Or
really easily.
night
They're
soil only? Just
yeah, they're
just
like
the smaller. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, they're like maybe 4 inches by 4 inches.
Night
Big enough-
soil.
big enough that-
size.
Yeah, big enough that you just like
to allow a good flow of night soil through. Yeah.
or flaming oil or like boiling oil.
Yeah.
Flaming
In fact-
night soil. Yeah.
Night soil. Oy.
Yeah.
Zag, flaming
Gives
night
a-
soil.
Gives
This
another
is-
meaning to the phrase hot shit.
This
Yeah,
is so
indeed.
much like playing this when I was 12. I
Yes.
want to thank you guys.
It's
This
almost
is
as if
just,
we're 12, right?
You're only as old as you feel, right?
Yes, discovering at 12 what night soil was, and lots of giggling ensued. How would we have found that out when we were 12? We wouldn't be able to go to the Google.
Written a letter to Dragon Magazine.
Yes.
Dear sage advice.
Yeah,
Or,
what
you
are
know,
the
or-
stats on night soil? Yeah.
Yeah, either that or either that or hopefully like if you're, I don't know, if your mom had a Webster's Unabridged that they still had from college or something like that that you could pull out. It probably wasn't in the Webster's Standard Dictionary. You probably need to go to one of the real thick ones.
To the Encyclopedia Britannicas.
Okay, you're just going to head down the stairs.
Please. Bring us back home.
Got it. Well, let me let me roll something. Nope. Okay. So, who is going first down the stairs?
Probably me or the acrobat for reconnoitering.
Probably. I'm willing to go first. It seems that it would make sense that the invisible one would go first. So as long as I'm still invisible.
Oh, okay.
I will immediately give up my place at the front of the line when I'm no longer invisible. I will not fight anybody for that place in line.
Okay. So you start heading down the stairs. You get about 4 steps down when the stair has where you step on a pressure plate. There is you step on it and it gives just a little, and you just have that moment of like, oh, when you hear a grinding sound behind you. And this is kind of a cool trap, I think. There's a grinding sound. There's a grinding sound kind of like behind and above you, and the rest of you who are behind. What happens is a small trap door, like right above the top of the stairs, opens, and a large ceramic sphere drops out, smashes onto the floor, releasing thousands of little glass marbles, which just bounce all down the stairs. So the stairs are now covered with marbles. So it is going to anyone who attempts to go down the stairs is going to need to make a dexterity check or fall down the stairs. Perhaps possibly making an awful lot of noise. This made a kind of a loud crash. You're not hearing anything. So what do you want to do? And presumably the escaped slave just, missed the trap. It's taking the stairs 2 at a time or something like that.
Or was like right on along the edges or something like that. Who knows? But could we use the rope of climbing basically as a handrail to help us keep our feet as we go down?
100%.
Yes, the rope of climbing is very useful. It gets us around a lot of things.
I'm going to say if you're using the rope of climbing if you're basically using that to like let yourself down. Yeah, I'm going to say no rolls are necessary if you're using the rope of climbing. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I'll set that up.
That thing has been super duper useful.
Oh yeah, I used to abuse the heck out of them when I was younger. They were one of my favorite items.
Okay, so yeah, the stairs go down about 20 feet. You're now at the ground level. There's a whole lot of marbles on the floor down here.
I'm going to grab an empty sack, and just load it up with marbles so that I have a big sack of marbles to carry around with me.
There you go.
Two can play this game.
There you go.
I'm adding big sack of marbles to my inventory here. All right.
100%. So you do get to the bottom. There is a door, which looks like it's going to open up into the inner courtyard. It's a heavy wooden door. The door is of fairly recent construction, although presumably that was built when the folks that are using it now rebuilt the place.
So it might be a fair assumption that it's probably not trapped or locked if the escaped slave came through it. He might have been able to miss that trap, but not an open the door trap, probably.
Can I ask a favor as a player?
Yeah.
Can we give that person a name so that they're a real person?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then we can call them by their name and not just keep calling them, like referring to them
escaped slave,
because
of
the conditions of their captivity.
Yeah. That is a really good point. Thank you, Jim. His name is Wilton.
Wilton, excellent. Thank you.
So yeah, the door is not locked.
I think a quick scan of the courtyard before we.
And if the acrobat's still invisible, I'll go down and I'll open the door for him and see if he can find cover to get to.
And just open it a crack and peer out and see what we can see.
Okay, you're looking out onto the courtyard. So you're just kind of like standing there. So you open it up a crack. Topaz, who's still invisible, gingerly steps out. A gentle breeze blows leaves and pieces of twine about this courtyard. To the north, there's a curtain wall with portcullis and drawbridge. This as well, since you can see that.
Portcullis is probably down, right?
Yeah, the portcullis is down. Do my poor man's fog of war. Okay, so looking around, moonlight and shadow form a stark contrast within the courtyard. There's a strong odor of manure and rotting vegetables in the air. So where you're standing here, so yeah, this is the entrance. There's a portcullis here that is down. You can and there is a drawbridge. Again, the drawbridge and there is a drawbridge. The drawbridge is down, but so is the portcullis. There's not a lot of vegetation here. It's here the ground is earth, just kind of like tamped down. There may be like along the walls, or maybe a few pieces of scrubby weeds that are growing up, but it's mostly just bare earth. It's a little damp. It has been raining. It's not super muddy, although from where you're standing, so this is the gatehouse here, and there is there's a passage through the gatehouse. This thing here that indicates it's very muddy there. So there's a big mass of mud right before the entrance through the gatehouse.
Are there any windows in any of those, the gatehouse on this side? Anything that's accessible, or is it all just sheer wall?
At this level, it's pretty much sheer wall. I mean, you can look up. I mean, on this level, if you look up, there are more windows and arrow slits, basically on the second floor. And from here you can see, and from where you are, it looks like there's two levels. There's there's again kind of like with the curtain wall entrance. There's a second layer. There's clearly an inner second floor to the gatehouse, and then there's a third floor which is open to the air.
Is it possible to see if there's any light coming from those arrow slits or tunnels that would indicate, or tunnels, arrow slits or windows to indicate whether they're occupied, or at least occupied with people who are awake, theoretically?
I'm going to say yes. There is some. I'm going to say yes. There is light coming through some of the windows and arrow slits on the second and third floor, and I stand corrected. These it's pretty tall. There's a second floor, there's a third floor, and then there is a rooftop. And there were some guards on the rooftop. There are ladders that go down that connect to the perimeter walkways. But again, those guards are mostly looking out. But yes, but to answer your question, yes, there is definitely signs of occupation in the gatehouse. What do you wish to do?
Yeah, Zal and I were thinking, I think roughly the same thing. Avoid going through that choke point if at all possible.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if going up into a occupied room. But we could at least go up if we think we can get, if it's obviously we're not going to fit through an arrow slit, but we would through some sort of window. I mean, if we could one of us could go up the rope of climbing, I suppose, or I could climb the wall.
I guess the other question is, how tall is the rope? How high does it go?
Rope of
50
climbing?
feet.
It's 50
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah.
50 feet.
I think that means we could just go all the way right over the top of the roof of this thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, except did you say that there are guards up there?
There are guards up there.
There
there's
are
a second-
guards. So if I'm understanding how this works correctly, there's a wall, right? And like it goes up to the wall, and then there's that palisade that goes around, but there's an additional floor that goes up over the top of that, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we could just go all the way up onto the roof, cross it, and just go down the other side and simply go over it. And
Right. So you're saying
and
go
avoid
to
all that completely.
go to what would be the third floor, not the fourth floor.
No, go right over the top of the fourth floor.
Okay, so the guards are on the pathway then.
The guards are on the pathway, which does connect to the third floor. There's a roof above that, and then there are,
Okay.
and there's a roof above
Okay.
that. So I mean, the gatehouse is basically a pair of towers.
Right.
Yes.
I guess I misunderstood. I thought the guards were on the top. So no, I'm all in on that.
Yeah,
There are some guards on the top, but there are also guards that are, there are guards that, there's this walkway. This walkway also, let me.
So I think what we're
Next
trying to
to
figure
here.
out is the top of the gatehouse a roof, an enclosed roof, or is it an open parapet?
So you would have seen this. So the gatehouse third floor is open. So I just revealed that because you would have seen that. I should have revealed that earlier. You would have seen that while you were casing it from the nearby ridge. So that part is open, and that part basically connects via ladders to the rest of the guard walkway around the rampart. At the very top, on the fourth floor, there are more. There's one guard in each.
That's a parapet. That's open.
That's a parapet. Yeah,
I got
that's
it.
a parapet
Okay.
that's open.
And,
Okay.
and those are siege engines there.
Yeah, there's a ballista in each of those towers.
I think I have an idea. Let me see if I can throw it back. It's using some of that instead of going over the top where we can be seen by the guards that are up on the ledges. We use the acrobat can climb the wall here, and I can climb the wall here, while you two use the rope of climbing to go up the center. And if there's see where I'm pinging, and we just take out this one room. And then we can go back out on these windows out the other side. I mean, because if we go up top here, we have a chance of letting these guards here that are all along the walls see us. But if we go through the middle and just take out one room, okay,
Absolutely.
we can spike the door on this side, spike the door on that side, and then just go up down that way. And
as a player, my thought was predicated on that being a closed roof over the top and not an open parapet like that.
So there's openings where we can fit through on the third floor?
I'm going to say yes. On the third floor, there are some. I mean, they're narrow. They're like large, narrow windows, but a human could squeeze through.
Awesome.
Yeah, and because I can climb but without the rope, and the acrobat can climb without the rope, we can come at it through all three windows in that gatehouse door.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like that idea a lot.
Just figure out what you're getting into.
It's definitely going to be a fight.
see, what is in 9B?
And I also have a way to make it so to dampen the noise if we have to up there, if we don't want a chance further alarming the guards.
What's your
Okay.
idea?
You got a silence spell, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
'Cause you could basically cast that in that room, and we could go in there and raise holy heck, and no one outside of that's going to hear it.
Yep. It's only 15-foot radius, but 15-foot radius is what, 30-foot diameter. So that's
Correct. That's going to get most. If you stay in the middle of the room, that's going to get pretty much the whole room.
And basically, I can just like cast it on a rock, and when I get up there, toss the rock into the middle of the room, and we should be golden.
That sounds
Well, yeah,
awesome.
if you cast it on the rock while we're going up the thing, it'll prevent the knight over here with his plate mail from bang all the way up the wall.
Yep.
Oh, you don't need
Love
a
it.
rock. And I just reach into my sack and I hold up a marble,
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
which will be easy to throw. And not only that, like if we have a marble with silence on it, we can do things like roll it under a door into another room and things like that. So
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Definitely.
I love it. I love it.
So I'll set up the rope of climbing on the middle window for the two who can't climb, and then I guess I'll take the left side and ask Topaz to take the right side. And now here's where we roll like 96 on our climb walls.
The other awesome thing about a marble with silence on is you can throw as hard as you want and no one will ever hear it land. So just chuck it right into the room. How are we doing this? Are you carrying it with you or are we waiting to hurl it in there after you? What's
I'm gonna climb up there, and once I get climbed up there and in place, I'll cast it on the thing and wait for everybody to be up at the same level and ready to go, and do this kind of like a door kicker style thing. I don't know.
I love it. Okay, everyone's in place. Let's see.
You want us to make our climb walls roll?
Yeah, why don't we do this? Let's make our climb walls. Let's make your climb walls check. We'll get everyone in position. Then I think I'll call a quick break, and then we'll come back and see what happens.
All right. So, oh, and of course I climb halfway up and I fall. And what did I say? What did I say? Oh my God, it's so horrible. That is just bad on so many levels.
I guess 91 sounds good until you think about the fact that it's actually a 1 in 10 chance of failure, right? Which it's not entirely unlikely.
Well, I think how many feet is it up to that third floor? 30 feet?
Yeah, so you're getting up to the 3rd floor. Yeah, I think you've both fallen 20 feet.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be some damage.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna roll this open.
So I have a thing that says whether I could tumble or not, that's fair. When able to tumble, acrobats suffer no damage from the first 10 feet of any fall. Damage due to falling from a greater height is reduced by the listed percentage.
So you fall like 10 feet instead of 20.
So you fall 10 feet instead of 20, and what's the listed percentage?
33%.
Okay.
My gosh, how precise we were in the old days. How algorithmic we were.
So a third. So you only take 2/3. So you only take 2/3 of 1d6 damage. So let's roll that first. So I rolled a 6. So you take 4 points of damage from the fall.
And I think I take 2d6.
Clintock, you take 2d6 damage. You take 6 points of damage.
Okay.
However, I am going to say, wait, had you cast the silent spell first?
No, not yet.
I am then going to make a check to see if they notice.
I hope the best part of this is we're laying in the mud. You guys are up on the rope of climbing, and they stick their heads out the window. And am I still invisible?
You are still invisible. It hasn't worn off yet. You haven't attacked anything. Okay, so go ahead and why don't you go ahead and tell us? So you both fall. Go ahead and tell us what that looks like.
Do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, I think I from my perspective, I'm scrambling up all cocky like, right? Just and in kind of performatively, right? Like I'm off with one hand off the thing occasionally and doing it very performative, and then I step on one little piece that's out there and it snaps off, and I flail backwards, but obviously because of my training, I somersault my way down and almost stick the landing.
I'm imagining you almost like I'm imagining you almost get the Black Widow style superhero landing that Yelena was making fun of her for in
The
in the
3-point landing.
movie.
Yeah.
I almost envision like he's falling, then he's like, aha, he starts to tumble his way into a landing, and he's all like, and then face plants into the ground. So
for me, I think it's I get up to a certain part, and I'm a halfling, and so there's a part of the climb where I have to actually leap to get to the next catch, and I just miss it by an inch and scramble along the wall as I fall and scrape against the side of the wall and fall, probably sprain my ankle and then land in the mud. Not quite as gracefully as
Got it. So yeah, Topaz, you land here. Clintock, you basically land there at the ground level. Does not appear to be anyone. Does not appear that anyone has noticed the sound thus far. And let's set the scene for the rest of you who are on the rope of climbing. What is your reaction when both of your skilled rock climbers appear to have been bested by this particular climb?
A sharp intake of breath.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just stop climbing and just watch them and just listen expectantly, just waiting for, all hell to break loose. And also hopefully that I see them getting up and starting to climb again.
Okay.
Other than nobody was able to see my wonderful flipping and flopping performance because I'm still invisible. So
that's right. But I see the human-shaped indentation in the mud.
Yeah. Well, you mostly missed you missed the deep mud, which might have been a bad thing because that might have cushioned your fall a little bit.
Oh my God, that's right. We didn't even see that. We heard a crack. We saw a little piece of the wall dislodge, and then kind of tumbled down. And then we saw a maybe a thump or two as you hit the wall, and then a splat on the ground. That's pretty awesome.
So I think we'll I think I'm going to call a 5-minute break here. Then we'll come back and finish the scene. Back in 5. And we're back. Okay, so we've got Kaf, Zal, and Baroon on the rope of climbing, kind of halfway up to that third floor, the third floor of the West Gatehouse. Topaz and Clintock attempted to climb up either side. Both had a mishap and fell. So I guess my question is, are you going to make a second attempt, or are you going to or those who are on the rope of climbing, are you going to go back down and try a different approach? What's your plan?
I just dust myself off, spit in each hand, and rub it together, and start climbing again.
If at first you don't succeed.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, Clintock and Topaz, I will ask both of you for climb walls checks.
After you, sir.
Alrighty. Yay! Woohoo.
Yay.
Yay! So there is a, okay, so you're getting yourself in position. There is you have a brief moment of fear when because now you're close and you can hear that there are a number of there are a number of people in there. They're not speaking in common. They are does anyone speak Goblin?
No, I speak orc.
Okay, well, you can't really understand what they're speaking. It's a it sounds like it's a bit of a rough language. You're guessing it's hobgoblin because you saw that it was mostly hobgoblins that were on patrol. You have a brief moment of panic when there's when you think you hear a shout of alarm, but you realize it's a bunch of them like breaking out in laughter as if one of them had just told a very funny story. And you are now in, and I'm going to say you are now all in position just outside these windows. You do not seem to have drawn any attention to yourselves yet. What
So,
do you do?
I just I make sure that everybody's got their attention or whatever. I hang on with one hand, shimmy the scroll out, put the spell on the marble, and then when I roll this marble, you're gonna have to move fast, because if they're talking, that means that they're gonna know something's up as soon as they can't hear each other. There's gonna be a small moment of surprise. So, ready? And then the marble goes in.
I am going to say that you're going to automatically get a surprise round because I'm just going to say fictionally, there's no way they could have seen this coming. Well, I mean, there was a way they could see it coming, but they blew their notice roll. So yeah, I'm going to say you have a surprise round. So everyone can basically you can all act. Then we'll roll initiative and see who and then we'll just go in like actual initiative order. So what are y'all doing? I guess normally I guess we should since we're playing old school essentials, we should follow the we should follow the combat order because this is going to be some combat. So sequence. First, declare spells and retreats.
I mean, there's not going to be any spells happening because it's silent.
Oh, that's right. There's no. So first, there's so actions. I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, so there's no morale. So movement first. Take it you're all going to basically move into the room.
Scramble through the window.
Okay, you all scramble through you're all inside. There are let's see, this is room. Well, let me describe the room. We're in room 9B. Guard room. There are 7 hobgoblins in this room, sitting on benches at tables, leaning back against the walls, talking. Although that's what they were doing before everything just went suddenly deathly silent, which seems to have caught them all by surprise. Several of them seem to be scrambling for their weapons. And yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to say that since you are scrambling through windows, that's going to more or less be your action. Because it's not like you're just like I said, these were narrow windows that you kind of have to squeeze through. but I'm going to say, so basically your surprise round is going to more or less be getting in the room with these hobgoblins. But since you surprised them, they aren't really able to prevent you all from pouring in. That sound good? Okay.
Is that a stairway in the far corner of that room?
No, those are in the corner of that room. No, there's a ladder on the wall, and there's a trap door in both the floor and the ceiling.
Okay.
So I guess that's a surprise round, is you like surprising them by like entering their guard room when they were absolutely not expecting this. So I guess it is time to roll initiative. Take off my GM tag. I will roll for the monsters. I got a 6. So who wants to roll for the party?
Not me.
Go for it, Tim. Okay.
Like golf, right? Low goes first, right? No.
You count up
Oh.
from 1, right? That's 1, then 2, then 3, then 4.
Ascending armor class, ascending initiative.
Ascending initiative. Yeah, exactly. So the monsters win. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that they're angry at this point because, like, who are these interlopers who just like jumped in through our window? So I'm not going to roll morale yet because, well, and the other thing is they outnumber you.
Am I still invisible, or has that worn off yet?
You are still invisible.
So they definitely
haven't attacked.
You haven't attacked yet, although I imagine you will probably will this round. But we shall see. Okay, so the monsters go first. So Topaz is indeed invisible. So these hobgoblins are just making sure I'm not missing something. So as you pour into the room, they're all, these hobgoblins were clearly, completely surprised by this. There was one hobgoblin that was sitting near one of the windows. He was like chewing on a hickory stick. And on his action, he stands up, and I'm going to randomly determine who he is closest to. Let's roll a d6, and it's just going to go clockwise around.
I mean, you could roll a d4.
Well, Baroon is with you.
Yeah, that's still just 4 of us because they don't see Topaz.
Oh, yeah. They don't see Topaz. That's right. I forgot about that. I will roll a d4. Okay. I'm going to say Clintock. I'm going to say Clintock. Just as you're like climbing through the window, he like turns to you and he spits a bunch of hickory shards at you. In the adventure, save versus breath weapon.
Oh, lovely. Let's see here. Breath weapon. Okay, I need a 16.
Friggin' Gary Gygax, man.
And I fail.
You're blinded for a round because you're blinded for a round because you've got
Okay.
like chewed up hickory shards and
It's a
hobgoblins
toothpick.
spit in your face.
All right.
Better than night dirt in your face.
That is true.
He
It
wouldn't
says
have
right
been
here, if
chewing on
intruders
that when
attack
we
them,
came through the window.
If intruders attack them, he will first spit in their eyes, save versus breath weapon, or be blinded for a round.
It might be a delicacy to hobgoblins. So
I'm going to do two. So that was 7. So we've got 4 attacks. So I'm going to say another. I'm going to say 2 of them attack. I'm going to say 2 attack calf. Let's see. Come on, dice roller. That's a miss. And that's another miss. 2, 3. 1 is going to attack Zal. Ooh, that could hit.
Probably does. I don't have any kind of armor at all.
What is your armor class?
Let me see here. My armor class is -1. -1, is that right? No, that's not right.
That couldn't be right. Not unless you're. I mean, that's like plate mail and
that's-
shield.
Yeah, that's wrong. I think it's. Oh, it's. What does it start at?
9.
If you've got no armor,
Base
No
is
armor.
9.
No armor is 9.
it's 8 then.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? It's calculating my AC wrong, I think is what's going on. Yeah, it's
Figure
not
that out in the
letting me-
journal later. But
Yep. Yeah, my AC's 8.
AC is 8. Okay. He hit AC 6 with that roll, so that hit. And I'm gonna. What are these guys using for weapons? It says damage by weapon. It doesn't say what weapon they're using. I'm gonna say they're using. I'm gonna say he's using a sword. Yeah, orcs use swords. Hobgoblins use like scimitars. So that's gonna be D8 damage. 2 points of damage.
Right.
Any more.
I howl in pain at the top of my lungs.
And it makes no noise. Silent
Correct.
scream. 2 attacks on Baroon. That's going to be a hit, and that's going to be a miss. And Baroon takes some damage. Hit points.
And I got Barun's sheet open here. I'll keep track.
Oh,
of the
okay.
bookkeeping.
Yeah, if you want to do that, that would be
Yeah,
cool.
you've got enough to keep track of.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, I just took 2 hit points off, but I'm going to close the sheet. If you wouldn't mind doing that, I would
Yep.
appreciate
Happy
that.
to. Yeah. Yeah. I'll roll the stuff up for him.
And that is. I think that's all of them.
Oh, so Barun actually does speak Goblin.
Well, that's what hobgoblins speak.
Okay. All right. Cool. So we can. That's fine.
You
They're
can communicate with them.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
they were basically they were telling they were telling joke like hobgoblin jokes, which are more or less like and then I did this disgusting thing to a human, and then I did this disgusting thing.
Yeah, they're telling dead human baby jokes. So
Yeah, pretty much. That was all of them. It is now.
As funny as our night soil jokes, I don't think our night soil jokes are superior to their jokes.
It is your. That was them. It is now your turn. So let's see. So movement goes first. You're all in melee now at this point, unless someone wants to do something weird. If anyone's, the next step would be anyone who's doing missile fire. Although I think you're probably all in melee. No one can cast spells because you're in a zone of silence, and it is now time for melee. Let's yeah, I guess everyone's gonna go. Let's just go clockwise around, I guess. So Calf.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, attack the nearest one. I'm gonna do my cat, try and stab him.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
And I will roll that.
Somebody keep track of this.
So we've got attack. Okay, so yeah, so 20, so that would
Oh,
hit
yeah.
AC -3.
Oh yeah, that totally hits.
9 damage, it says. Does it add my strength to damage? It must, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that is adding your it auto adds your strength to damage. Yeah, you cut one down. What does that look like?
I think it's just a clean, just right through the neck, just a clean, just chop its head off.
Nice. Clintock, what are you doing?
Trying to remove this stuff out of my eyes because I'm blinded, so I can't.
Oh, that's right. You are blinded.
That's
That's right. You are blinded.
You want to roll for Baroon since you don't get to do anything?
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Do I have to pull up a sheet or I just roll a d20?
Either way, I mean, I think everyone has the ability to look at each other's sheets.
Well, yeah,
that's
I
gonna
rolled
miss.
a 4, so that's gonna miss.
That's gonna miss.
Man, dice aren't with me today.
Topaz, what are you doing? Keep in mind that if you attack, you become visible.
Yeah. So I believe he's going to use his sort of tumbling attack thing because he should get. I'm assuming he's going to get his +4 bonus for his opponent being unaware, given at least this one time. So
absolutely.
I was thinking about standing in the window and shooting with a bow, but I thought this would be more fun. So, so he's going to make the tumbling leap attack on which one of them, I guess.
Okay.
So, with his spear, his trusty old Bertha. Let's see. Shoot. So if I put a +4 or if I put a 4 in the threshold modifier, that would be where you would do that.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Christmas. What a waste.
A bummer. What is there? I think their armor class is better than 8. Yes, they are AC. They are AC 5.
Excellent. Yeah, and now I'm in the middle of them with my.
What does that look like? What happened?
Yeah, I think he came leaping in and just flew right by the. Well, I think maybe the hobgoblin his back was bared to him, and then he just kind of stepped over to attack maybe one of the other ones, and I just flew right by, tumbling into the ground. So,
got it. And Zal, what are you going to do?
I mean, there's not a lot I can do except try to stab one of them, I guess. I mean, because there's one of them in my face with a sword, right?
That is true.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I pull out my magical dagger. And for a moment, I kind of look along I look along the edge to see if it's glowing and to see if this creature's enchanted. It's probably not. So I'm just going to try and kind of frantically flailing away, swinging it. So let's see what happens here. All right, using this melee weapon. Threshold modifier, nothing. Boom, I rolled an 11.
Okay, that hit AC 8, which, yeah, that, how does this hobgoblin successfully defend against your attack?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think literally like all he has to do is just kind of like he comes at me, he kind of like slash me once, And as he's kind of pulling back to, to stab me again, like just with a flick of his wrist, he just like kind of snaps my hand out of the way before it even gets close to him. I'm way outclassed even by just a kind of rank and file hobgoblin when it comes to, having to defend myself in this vulgar manner.
Got it. All right. It is now round 2. I'll have the hobgoblins are going. I'm going to have them roll morale. They still outnumber you, but Calf took one out in one swing. So yeah. Of course, I didn't think to write down what their morale is ahead of time. And AD&D doesn't put morale in their stat block.
I feel like hobgoblins would have good morale, right? They're supposed to be like the disciplined ones, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
they have
the idea.
Yeah, they have like whatever ancient empires and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have morale. Making a morale check. And with a morale check. Yeah, they continue to fight. So, Calf, you have attracted the attention of 3 of them because they think you are probably the most dangerous of these interlopers. So I'm going to say 3 of them are going to attack you.
Right. I think I'm like gesturing to them. I'm like banging of course they can't hear it, but I'm like banging my sword on my shield and like bring it on.
Come at me, bro.
Just trying to keep them away from Zal.
Okay, first one attacks. Ooh, that just might do it. What is your armor class?
0.
Oh, well then, that misses. Second one also misses, and the third one.
Okay.
16, 16, 16. Yeah, they need an 18 to hit you.
I'm thinking my shield, it's almost like it moves like almost of its own accord, right? The enchantment, it's like even one that's not like it's coming from the side, I'm not going to block it, but then the shield just almost like ching, it's almost like part of me. It just quickly, yeah.
Love it. That's awesome. So it was 3. So one's going to attack Clintock.
AC 6.
Yeah, that's a miss. One's attacking Topaz. That is a very strong miss. I'm going to say I forgot to ask. So Clintock, how did you avoid the hobgoblin's attack?
Completely randomly, I managed to duck right as he was starting to swing, as I'm trying to get this stuff and it finally clears out of my eyes. And then I stand up and I'm like, oh, that was a close one.
And Joe, the hobgoblin attacking you makes a really clumsy attack. How did you how do you react to that? And I'm also going to say because that was a fumble, what are you going to try to do to gain advantage of him to gain advantage on this one the next round? If it's cool, I'll give you a bonus. I'll give you a bonus on your hit roll for the next round.
I'm thinking for a second because with me falling down and him falling down, I was kind of had my head of 2 of us in the corner doing this with each other, but that's not quite as cool as what we're looking for. So I think
I mean, is it
so
the is it the two of you falling down, or is it like WWE style two
Yeah.
of you falling down?
Yeah, so I think he lunges for me as I'm riding myself, and I'm able to leap up in the air, and then I land on his back and push off, and so now I'm behind him for the next as push as he's fallen down, I've flipped over him, and now I'm behind him.
Fantastic. Yeah, so you're behind him, so I'll give you a I'll give you a +2 bonus to hit that guy next round just because of positioning. Because hey, he rolled a 1. And the last one attacks Zal, and that is a terrible miss. What is how do you successfully defend against a Zal? What part of your training taught you how to defend against an angry hobgoblin with a scimitar?
So you know what? Like for a second, like everything is silent, and like like Zal for a second closes his eyes and covers up. You know what? I think like it's actually like I literally am like waving my arms and like stumbling back and everything, and the hobgoblin expects that I'm gonna stab him again, right? And I'm just like that, and and he does like a kind of a short stroke expecting to gut me, and I'm just not there because I'm kind of wailing in terror.
Reminds me of something I read when I was prepping for a Night Witches game, which I ultimately never ran, which was the German the German like targeting, like analog targeting computers couldn't hit the biplane bombers that the Soviets were using because they were going too slow.
Yeah, so like every single German fighter plane had a stall speed that was faster than those planes flew. So like the only thing you could do is like try and hit them as you were going by at 50 miles an hour. So I ran a whole campaign of Night Witches, and that was a big thing, was like they had to like get up high and kind of try and come, line you up and come straight down at you to get more than just like a couple of rounds across you, just because they were so fast and those planes were so slow, basically gliders kind of. So, but yep. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Like I'm so bad at fighting that like he is taken by surprise at how genuinely awful I am, that I have no business being here with waving a dagger at anyone.
Fantastic. It is now your turn. Let's go anti-clockwise. And so Zal, how do you follow that up?
Oh man, I think I'm I'm back there. Like I said, I kind of have stepped back, and you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take another step back hard against the wall, and just throw some of those marbles down on the floor in front of me. Just reach
I like
it. Scatter a few of those. Not like dump the whole bag so it goes across the whole room, but a couple of dozen on the floor in front of me, so that when he comes towards me, hopefully that'll make him slip.
I love it. That's fantastic. Topaz, what are you doing?
Well, now I am going to attempt to stab this hobgoblin in the back with my spear.
Okay. Take a +2 bonus on this for your positioning.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, solid hit. You take him down. What does that look like?
Yeah, I think as he comes back up, I think he just runs him through, and you see that the goblin, kind of leapt at me. I wasn't there, and then all of a sudden he looks down, and my spear is sticking through him. And
Nice. I love it. Clintock, what are you doing?
All right, well, my eyes are clear now.
Yes.
So I have my short sword out. It's magical, and I try to stab this thing to death. You said they were AC 5, so that means
AC 5.
I need a 13 to hit. Let's see here. And no, another 4.
Got it. Do you want to roll for Baroon?
Sure. It's
And what is he doing?
Yeah, hacking. He's gonna
Punching
probably try
Punching with
try-
his fist blades.
Yeah, but I think he might be trying to kill the one that's on Zal, the wizard. So
Nice.
it's natural 20.
Ooh, natural 20. So again, what we're doing, the way I want to do this is that's an automatic hit and it does maximum damage.
Okay. Let's see here. Baroon. Okay. That's what's his strength? Okay, so that's 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. Okay, you Baroon takes another one out. What does that look like?
Oh, that's easy. As it comes over to the one that's about to advance on Zal, the hobgoblin actually slips on a couple of the marbles or whatever right into the punch at the base of the neck, comes out the front. Just
Love it.
leaves him slumped down.
And Calf.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, strike out one of the 3 that are around me. So 11 plus 2, so 13. So that hits AC 4.
That'll hit. Or AC 5.
And 9 damage.
Okay, you take another one out. What does that look like?
Yeah, I think there's like the 2 of them. I just kind of like step out and just kind of bash them with my shield, kind of push them away. And then the other one I'm kind of like crossed swords with and kind of, use my sword to push his back. And then he's just looked, I have an opening and I just can stab him right in maybe like a weak point in his armor around like the shoulder, run my sword through. And then I'm actually thinking that if I can, I might want to, at this point, looking around the room, most of them, was it 4 out of 6 now are dead, right? Or is it 4 out of 7?
4 out of 7. There are 3 still standing, and they're looking kind of astonished.
I was just gonna say I want to move, and I don't know if other of us can too, but I was thinking I might want to move to try and block an exit. I don't think we want them getting out of here, right? So there's 2 doors, and then there's those there's like a hatch in the floor and the ceiling, right? So I think I might move. I might move to kind of position myself in between them and one of the doors.
Okay. Are you going to try to? I'm going to say sure. You can totally do that. Are you blocking the west door or the east door?
I will block the west door.
Okay. I think that is the end of round 2. Round 3. I'm going to make a monster morale check because more than half of them are dead. But they are going to keep on fighting.
as your god demands, right?
Yeah, pretty much. One is going to attack Topaz. Topaz, what is your armor class?
Sorry, I was muted. I am now a 4 because of the generous gifting of +1 leather armor.
How do you defend against this hobgoblin scimitar?
What I would like to do is I would like to leap and tumble out of the way, because I was going to. His movement is first before we attack. Eventually,
Movement, yeah, that's true. Movement. If folks want to do like some serious move. Like I mean, it's a melee. It's the
Right.
rounds are long, so I'm assuming you're all like moving around. And,
Right. So I was gonna do this anyway, but he will like he as he goes to attack me, I'm just going to leap and tumble over the top of him and position myself because I was going to head and position myself to try to help protect Zhao because he can't. Right. So
right. Okay. Yeah, you can totally position yourself between this guy and Zal. Keeping an eye. I know you keep. I assume you're going to keep half an eye on those marbles.
maybe not. Well, I mean, I don't know how I could. So I guess in my head would be as like I'm not sure I'd know they were there, and they're glass.
True. That's true. Okay. I mean, it's a fact,
as it demands.
It's a factor exactly. It's a factor we can play with when we're coloring what this what happens. So the second one is going to attack Baroon. And I'm going to say that this hobgoblin, is like kind of enraged since Baroon took out his buddy, and he like does like an overhand chop swing, and Baroon just crosses his his stabbing blades, catches the hobgoblin's sword, and then throws it to the side. And the third is attacking Calf. And you've got, he needs like an 18 to hit you. So how do you defend against this one?
Yeah, I think I've like run and kind of positioned myself, sort of in front of that door. And I think he's like charging at me, and it's just literally just like bracing, for a charge. And I managed to kind of just absorb the blow.
Sounds good. Love it. Okay. Bottom of round 3, Calf. Why don't you take a? Why don't you go?
So I'm just going to counter attack that same one, I think. So that would be 20. So it hits AC -3.
Oh, solid hit.
I'll roll the D8. 6 + 2, so 8 damage.
Okay, you kill this one. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I think he, like, when he ran into me, it was like actually running into a brick wall. It kind of like actually knocked him back, and he's just off balance for a second, and just enough for me to just run my sword right through him.
Nice. Clintock, what are you doing? There are 2 that are still standing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that one of them is still the one that spat in my eye, so I'm gonna go and stab that guy. So I need a 13 and another 4.
How does this hobgoblin evade your attack?
I think he spits another a set of a spit in my face, and just enough to throw me off again. It doesn't have the stuff that blinds me, but it's still annoying.
I love it. Topaz, what are you doing?
All right, so I think he will attack at the one that he just kind of evaded. That he has interposed himself in between Zal. I don't want to keep calling him Zaz for some reason.
I keep calling him Zaz because that's the name of one of the other player characters. That's the name of one of the characters in one of my other games that I'm in.
It seems very magician-y, but I will. I
mean, not quite as bad as Zaps, which it's an OSR game, so the Zaps the magic user would be.
So maybe he did hit the marbles. So I'm thinking with that kind of a miss, he flipped himself over with the idea that he was going to land and then stab with his spear, but then he lands and he starts and can't quite stick the landing or the hobgoblin.
Got it. Who would like to roll for Baroon and tell us what Baroon is doing? was gonna say, Harry, I think
Yeah,
you might
yeah,
have the.
yeah.
I think you might have his
Yeah,
character sheet up.
I have his sheet up. So his stack is 17, so he's a 12. Yeah, that's gonna hit.
That's gonna hit.
So let's see here. Gladiator hand blades, 26, just 2. So add 2 to this roll. So it does 4 points of damage.
Okay. What is that? You deal a pretty grievous wound to this hobgoblin, but it's still up. What does that look like?
I think he ducks under a wide swing by the hobgoblin and then catches him in the side with a kidney blow. So he's probably slowly bleeding to death at this moment.
Okay. I'm gonna go for Zal here. And I think what Zal is gonna do is, since he's at this point, most of the hobgoblins are like fighting, or like the 3 remaining or the 2 remaining hobgoblins are like one's fighting Calf and one's fighting Baroon. I think what Zal's going to do is he's going to just take he's going to like draw one of his daggers, and is going to chuck it at the hobgoblin that's fighting Baroon. And Zell is just so much better at aiming spells than he is at aiming daggers. It looks so much easier with like that buddy of his that like used to throw him at the dartboard in the tavern. That looks so much easier than this. What happens here is so he throws the dagger, and the dagger hits the hobgoblin in the back of the helmet, and it just kind of like bounces off. And then the hobgoblin looks over his shoulder and just shoots Zell a look that's that is one part utter contempt, and the other just utter. It's equal hateful and piteous. Top of round 3, there are 2 left. I am going to make a morale check. They are fighting to the death. There are 2 left. There's one that's wounded that is fighting Baroon. I'm going to have him go first. That's a miss. And the one that is continuing to fight Calf. Oh. Yeah. So, Calf, go ahead and tell us how you completely anticipated this hobgoblin's move, and just like utterly show this guy who's boss, because he rolled a 1.
Yeah, so I think it's like this desperation move, right? It's like I need to like hit this guy big, or else like we're done for. And I think he like comes in with his sword, just like this big wind up, right? And of course, like I just see it coming from a mile away. So I kind of do the thing where I just like stand there, like very straight, and then at the last second, just like quickly sidestep it and just clang, and then just like then I just shield bash him, send him off balance to prepare for my counter attack.
Got it. Jim, just to catch you up, there are 2 hobgoblins left. Last round, you attempted to throw a dagger, and it went poorly.
Yeah, that's what would have happened if I had been here. So that's totally cool.
And just to clarify, Jim, we established that the hobgoblin shot you a glance that was equal parts hatred and contempt. No, hatred and pity.
Hatred and pity.
Also checks out. Yes, yeah.
It is the bottom of round. What is this? Round 4? Yeah, bottom of round 4. Your turn. I think let's keep the camera on Calf, because you just knocked that. You just like did a humiliating you humiliated this hobgoblin in your defensive move. So how do you try to bring that home?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've sidestepped him. He's hopefully in a vulnerable position, and I've cut him off balance. And I'm just going to try and just.
I'm going to say that since he fumbled, I'm going to give you a +2 bonus on this roll.
Nice. Yeah, swing my sword back around, and I'll try and end it like I started it, with just a clean chop right to the neck, I suppose. See how it works. Okay, so 18, 20. Yeah, so that's going to be a
Oh,
hit
that's
because
solid.
it's going to hit negative AC. So let's see. Roll D8. 2 plus 2. Okay, so that's 4.
You wound him badly. He's not out yet.
Yeah, I think I probably misaim my stroke and kind of hit him more in like the shoulders, not quite the clean neck shot I was going for.
Got it. Let's take it to Baroon, because he was the other one who was like really in a pretty desperate fight.
All
So
right.
Harry, if you wouldn't mind rolling for him.
So he's gonna need a 12. That's gonna miss.
Yeah, so how does the Hobgoblin successfully defend against Baroon's attack?
Well, I think he's holding his side, and he's just putting up a fully defensive barrier. He's just keeping his sword out in front of him, and he's just batting the blades as Baroon kind of like forces him back towards the wall.
Okay. And Clintock, what are you doing?
I'll use that to try and come up and stab that guy too. 20, 13, and no, still can't hit.
What does that
Yeah.
miss look like?
I think when I come up and I kind of crowd Baroon a little bit and get in his way, and it just throws my aim off, and the Hobgoblin is just sitting there concentrating on defense, so he just swats my blade aside.
Nice. Topaz, there are 2 Hobgoblins remaining. They're both wounded. One's fighting Calf. One is currently fighting both Clintock and Baroon.
All right, I will just the one that's attacking Calf, because it's it's the one-on-one one, right? Or whichever, yeah. So, all right, let's see if we can do something here. Never mind. Nothing to see here. Move along. Move along.
What happened?
Move along. I'm still falling on the marbles. I went to plant again, and I started slipping again on the marbles as I did before. So,
okay. Excuse me. And Zal, there are still 2 Hobgoblins. They are both wounded. One's mostly fighting Calf. One is mostly fighting Baroon and Clintock.
I kind of take a moment, squint, kind of, and then, at the one that is fighting Baroon and Clintock. Just chuck one of those daggers. Does anybody remember when they threw the dagger before? Did they throw my magical dagger or
No,
just a regular dagger?
He threw Zal threw a regular dagger last time.
Got it. Okay, so this time I actually take my enchanted dagger. I look at it and I kind of like, I say something to it, which goes unheard because we're still in the silence, and then I whip it at that.
Throw the magical dagger. Okay.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. Oh no, that's Baroon sheet. I should just close that down so I'm not rolling on that. Magical dagger. You've let me down before. It's not an enchanted creature, so boom, 17 for 5 damage.
You take this guy. You take this Hobgoblin out. What does that look like?
I mean, I think it's, like I said, I kind of am, I squint, I say something to the dagger, and then I'm looking and it's like, the two of them. And just as they step apart and I see, that Hobgoblin glaring in hatred at me, I wink and just boop, and the dagger just goes bloop right into his eye. His head snaps back and he falls over.
Nice. I think since they succeeded, since these hobgoblins, well, let's see, there's only one left. He's wounded. I'm gonna have it make a morale check. Yeah, he doesn't think this hobgoblin doesn't think he's gonna make it out of here alive. So he's just gonna go out kicking and screaming. He is going to attack. I think he's going to attack Topaz, since Topaz is clearly off balance at the moment. But he's fighting desperately, and he is fighting desperately. And even though he was trying to get a swing at Topaz, he's mostly got his eye on the heavily armored fighter in mail with a shield and a big ass sword. The quick strike, the attempt at a quick strike against the off balance foe, didn't really have his heart on it, because he was distracted by this warrior that's probably about to cut him down. And speaking of the warrior that's about to cut him down, it is now your turn, Kath.
All right. Okay, so 10 plus 2, 12, so hits AC 5.
That AC 5 is what you needed to hit. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, so 1 plus 2, so 3 damage.
Well, he only had 2 hit points, so you take him out. You have killed the 7 in silence. You have killed the 7 goblins in this in this room. What does taking out the last one look like?
Yeah. Well, can I involve Topaz in this also, Joe? Is that all right?
Yes, please.
Because I'm imagining that it was like Topaz was like coming in and like rolling in on those marbles, right? Like, and then just like kind of like collapses into him, right? It swings at Topaz, misses. Topaz just kind of like rolls into him. He staggers back, and then my sword just goes right through him. He's defenseless.
I
Teamwork.
love it. I love
Teamwork.
it. That was a super fun fight, guys. I really enjoyed that. Looking at time, I think this is probably a good really good point to end to pretty much end this session. And we will pick it up we'll pick it up next time in the immediate aftermath of this fight. Let's do we've got a little bit of time to do a debrief afterwards, but I prefer to do those off camera. So if anyone is actually watching this, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. I had a whole lot of fun. Thanks, folks, and hopefully tune in for episode 6 at some point in the future. Bye.